In this video, we are going to take up one more concept, the for loops and the range functions. How does this behaves in the Python program? So to do that, first, what is the for loop? The while loop keeps looping while its condition is true. But if you want to execute a block of code only a certain number of times, you can do this with a for loop statement and the range function. What is the syntax? The syntax is the for is the keyword, then a variable name, then in keyword, then a call to a range function method with up to 3 integers passed to it. Then you have a colon, and then starting on the next line an indented block of code which is for clause. So for example, if you consider for I in range 5, the first thing is a keyword for, then a variable name, then in keyword, that is what we are talking about, the in keyword, then a call to a range function, and then you have the integer value up to 3 integers. Of course, here we have given only 1, and then the colon, and then the for class word. So this is how you can be able to define a for with the range function. So what I want to do now, I want to print the value of I up to 5. That is what we want to do. So the output will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the output. So how I is equal to 0, I is equal to 1, I is equal to 2, I is equal to 3, and I is equal to 4. How does this works? For I in range up to 5. So initializes the value of I is equal to 0. Is 0 is within 5? Yes. Print it. Since the condition is true, it comes to this. Print I equals, which we have given, and give one space, and then comma, and then the variable name. What is that? Initially it initializes the value with 0, so I is equal to 0. Then again it goes back and then increments it by 1. So 0 plus 1 becomes 1. Is 1 is within 5? Yes. Then print I, so I is equal to 1. Again it goes back, increment the value of I by 1. So 1 plus 1 it becomes 2. Is 2 is within 5? Yes. So print I is equal to 2. Again it goes back and increments it by 1. So 2 plus 1 it becomes 3. Is 3 is within 5? Yes. So it prints the value of I as 3. Again it goes back and increments it by 1. So 3 plus 1 it becomes 4. Is 4 within 5? Yes. So print the value of I as 4. Then again it goes back and increments it by 1. 4 plus 1 it becomes 5. Is 5 is within 5? No. So the condition becomes false. So it comes out of the loop. So this is how it will go to work. So we are going to have an explanation. The code for the for loop class is in run 5 times. The first time it is run, the variable I is set to 0. That's what I have told. The print function called the class, it will print the value of I is equal to 0. After Python finishes an iteration through all the code inside the for loop class, the execution goes back to the top of the loop and the statement for increment by 1, I by 1. This is why the range 5 results in the 5 iterations through the class with I being set to 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4. The variable I will go up to but will not include the integer passed to a range function. That's what the important. Suppose if I want to have 5 also to be included, then I have to go up to 6. So that means whenever we give only the end value, the initialization value will start from 0 and the increment every time it will going to be 1 unless otherwise it will specify. Then an equivalent while loop will be, you can actually use a while loop to do the same thing as a for loop. For loops are just more concise. When I is equal to 0, we are initializing. While I is less than 5, print I is equal to, give space and then comma and then type I. I is equal to I plus 1, that I am giving an increment. Then what will going to be the output? Output is 0, I is equal to 0, I is equal to 1, I is equal to 2, I is equal to 3, I is equal to 4. How does it works? Now when you see here, initializes the value of I is equal to 0, then if 0 is less than 5, the condition is true. Print I is equal to, what is the iteration value of I now? In the initial stage, it will be 0. So I is equal to 0, it is printed. Then after this line, it will execute this line. So I is equal to previous value of I plus 1. What is the previous value of I? It is 0. So 0 plus 1, it becomes 1. Then it goes back. Is 1 is less than 5, the condition is true. So print I. I is equal to 1, it will go to be printed. Again, it comes to this line. So previous value of I is 1. So 1 plus 1, it becomes 2. Is 2 is less than 5, the condition is true. Print I is equal to 2. That's what we have printed here. Then it comes to this line. So then I will be, new value of I will be previous value of I, which is 2 plus 1, it becomes 3. So 3 is less than 5, again it goes back and checks for the value of I, which is 3 is less than 5. The condition is true, so print I is equal to 3. Again it comes to this line, then it takes the previous value of I as 3, plus 1, it becomes 4. Is 4 is less than 5, the condition is true. So print I is equal to 4. Then again it takes the value of increment of I is equal to previous value of I is 4, plus 1, it becomes 5. Is 5 is less than 5, the condition is false, so it comes out of the loop. So that is how it will going to work. So now we will going to see how it will going to work with this when you are trying to work on the VS Code or with the Python code. Now when you come to this, so first I will go for I in range 5. Okay. If this condition is true, I want to print I equals given space comma I. Okay. Now we will try to execute this. So we go to Python debug Python file. Then first it will comes to this. I value is taken as 0. So the condition is true. So the condition is true within 5, yes. So it will print the value of I as 0. Okay. Again, it takes the value of I as 1. Is 1 within 5? Yes. Condition is true. So I will become 1. Then after that again it goes back. 1 plus 1 it becomes 2. 2 is within 5. Yes. So now you can see I is equal to 2. Print the value of I now. What is the value of I now? It is 2. So prints that value here. Again it goes back. Then it increments the value of I by 1. So 2 plus 1 it should become 3 now. So once I just press enter here, so it will go to this. I is equal to 3. So 3 is less than 5. Sorry, 3 is within 5. The condition is true. So print I is equal to 3. Then again I will go back. So it takes the increment by 1. So 4. So I is equal to 4, you can see here. Is 4 is within 5, the condition is true. So print I 4. Again it goes back. Then it increments the value of 4 by 1. So 5 is within 5, the condition becomes false. So it will go into ends the program. So this is how the for loop will go to work with a real function. Now similarly, we are going to apply for the while loop, an equivalent while loop, how it will going to work. So first, what is the condition for the while loop? While loop condition is, I should initialize the value of I first, 0. while I is less than 5, okay, while I is less than 5, okay, print I equals, okay, comma, okay, I. Then I have to give the increment. I is equal to I plus 1. Then if you want, you can say print, you can say loop terminates. You can write here if you want. Otherwise, you can leave it, no problem. Now we will try to check now. Again, I will go to apply the breakpoints. Now we go for running of this program, debug Python file. So now, first it will take the value of I as equal to 0. Okay, you can see I is equal to 0. If 0 is less than 5, the condition is true. So print I. I value becomes 0 first one. Then it takes the increment. The old value of I is 0 plus 1, it becomes 1. So now check whether what happens here. So it goes back. Once after incrementing, it goes back. Is 1 is less than 5, the condition is true. So it will execute into this loop. So what is that value of I now? I value is 1. So I is equal to 1. It will print here, you can see. Then it takes the increment. I is equal to previous value of I is 1. So 1 plus 1, it becomes 2. Again it goes back. It checks the value of I. 2 is less than 5. The condition is true. Print I is equal to 2. Now again it comes to this and it takes the increment. 2 plus 1, it becomes 3. If 3 is less than 5, the condition is true. Now I is equal to 3 here. Print the value of I. I value is 3. So I is equal to 3. So again it takes the increment. I is equal to 3 plus 1, it becomes 4. Yes, you can see 4. If 4 is less than 5, the condition is true. Print the value of I. I is equal to 4. Okay. Then it takes the increment. I is equal to 4 plus 1 is 5. Then if 5 is less than 5, the condition becomes false. So it will go to skip all these lines now. Immediately the cursor will jump to this now, you see. So it comes to this. So since you have given one more print function, which is loop terminate, so it will go to give that value. So this is how you will be able to execute the while loop, how the repetition of the while loop, and also how this will going to work with the for loop with the range function. So both the outputs will going to be the same, but in while loop you can see initialization is done it here and the end condition is given here and the increment is given here. But when you are considering in the for loop, both initialization, end condition and the increment are all concise within the range function. So that is the advantage of using the for loop. So this is how the for loop with the range function will going to work in the Python program. Thank you.